It takes you another 20 or so minutes to get to your destination. As the door opens, you try to get your bearings. You're still in New York, that much is certain. Queens, maybe. After me, no sudden movements, please. You approach a nice-looking building that houses a two-story gallery called the Heart Hole. Two large men in suits flank the door on both sides, and they give you companion a nod as you approach. The gallery is full, which is unusual at this hour, to say the least. Okay. About 24 faces fill the showroom, and a number of waiters navigate the gathering, serving drinks. All of them are beneath the guests' attention. The visitors are well dressed for the most part, but it's unclear what they have gathered here for. Nobody seems to be particularly interested in the art pieces on the wall, and the atmosphere is, polite, unnaturally so. Many guests turn to look at you and the stranger who brought you here. Their glances are varied. You see open contempt on a few faces and animated interest on others. Most of the eyes in the room calmly observe you, as if wishing to praise your worth. The last time you felt like this was at your previous job interview. It was like being a piece of livestock, inspected from all sides from any imperfections, so your wage could be haggled down. It was dehumanizing and made you feel kind of dirty. When they called you the next day to offer you the job, you decline. Even when you're a nobody, you become even less if you trade away your dignity for a paycheck. I can't argue with that. The memory makes you feel warmer inside, even now, although the state of your bank account never did. Good evening, Kadir, and to you, child. The noble, cold voice takes you out of your head and back to the situation at hand. The gallery, a crowd of strangers, you being brought here against your will. For what purpose? The room awaits your response. Good evening, miss. You are addressing the Prince of New York City, Ellen Panhard, child of Michaela. Okay. Thank you, my sheriff, but I am capable of introducing myself. She's somewhat plain-looking and doesn't seem to possess a great deal of charm, but still, the entire room is intently focused on her voice. She has influence over these people. That much is clear. You may address me as Prince, child. I realize your introduction into life was abrupt, and I understand your sire left shortly after. The rules of our society dictate I punish you both for this transgression. A murmur of agreement, maybe, can be heard from the gathered audience. But I am willing to listen to what our loyal sheriff has to say about the circumstances of your embrace first. I'm gonna remain silent. Okay, long story short, I know I said I would not explain a lot of things. When someone when a kindred, a vampire embraces or turns someone into a vampire without, approval first, they get in trouble, and the Camarilla feels like it must punish the sire and the child that has been embraced. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for now. You decide it's best to stay silent and listen to the whole situation unfold. It feels like you're out of your depth here. Shall we begin? You are about to be judged by the Court of New York City. Kadir, please tell us how you found this fledgling and what happened on your way here. Court? Prince? Is this some kind of secret society make-believe? A trusted informant who has chosen to remain anonymous at this time tipped me off about a suspicious kindred appearing in one of our domains. Upon investigating, I found them gone, but this fledgling remained in their place. The hunger made him savage prostitute and his client in a Bronx brothel belonging to one of the ministry. I have already spoken to Sansarik about this and made sure it'll blow over. Regarding the fledgling himself, surprisingly enough, he offered little resistance last night and cooperated on our way to the safe house. I was pleased to not have to force his compliance. We had a quick chat, but wishing to appear here post-haste, I urged him to join me, which he did without struggle. Again, a pleasant departure from my usual routine. His thirst partially slaked with the bagged blood we kept in the safe house. We had a pleasant enough drive here. The story ends with us arriving at Elysium tonight. All eyes are on you again. You take a special interest in one of the faces. It's a beautiful woman with curly, almost blood-red hair and a dress to match. You see her whispering to some bespectacled man with an absent-minded look on his face. Who is she, you wonder? Thank you, Kadir. I take note of this fledgling's behavior and will take it into consideration later. She turns her attention to you. First, there is the matter of your sire, the person who brought you where Kadir picked you up from last night. Who were they? A feisty woman. A Latina woman, very radical unless she convincingly lied to me. She was special, extraordinary. She had fire, conviction, temper. She seduced me easily, in fact, made me think she wanted me. I fell for it and now I'm here. It feels awkward talking to a room full of strangers about what seemed like a random one-night stand at a time. Not to mention that, even though the Latina made an impression on you for sure, her face is already fading from your mind. You realize she never even told you her name. Well, Kadir, does that sound familiar? No, it does not, or at least not familiar enough. I'll continue to search after we're done here. The receptionist she spoke to may know her. That chick, she rented our room at the Moto. Talk to the receptionist, you might know something about her. Unlikely, but regardless, thank you for that observation. I will investigate this later. What shall I do with the fledgling, my prince? Well, what is your recommendation, my sheriff? The traditions are clear. Thou shalt only sire another with the permission of thine elder. If thou createst another without thine elder's leave, both thou and thy progeny shall be slain. I am ready to fulfill my duty. Stay your hand for just a moment longer, Kadir. I wish to consult my counsel on this, make sure everyone is in agreement. Of course. He seems strangely relieved. The prince leaves the main showroom and a handful of people follow her out. You're about to ask this Kadir what all that talk of traditions and councils was, when the red-haired woman approaches the two of you. Sophie? Sheriff, I was wondering if I could have a word with the fledgling. What for? She lowers her voice in response. Come now, Kadir, we all know that what the verdict is going to be. Let me speak to them. You might not have to stain your hands tonight, after all. Her words grab his attention. His face is hard to read. It's like several emotions are struggling for domination. Anger, sadness, hope, and gratitude. Resolve, even. I'll go get my sword. He steps out of the room the way you came, and you are left in the showroom with the woman in the red dress. She takes you aside, and the eyes of the remaining guests follow. Well then, fledgling, you're in quite the pickle. What is this circus? No, I'm just gonna say, what do you mean? I'm not gonna be a dick. What do you mean? I still don't understand what my crime is here. Poor thing, this really isn't your fault, but if you want to get out of here in one piece, you need to understand one crucial fact that seems to have eluded your grasp. Last night, you became a vampire. Wait, what? Oh yes, I am well aware of how ridiculous that sounds. It's the reasons why we have these nicer words for it. Kindred, being embraced, having a sire, the fact remains. The being is called vampires, you're looking at them, they're us. You glance around, some of the guests are still occasionally looking at you, commenting on you in hushed tones. Many of the patrons are pale, really pale, most old glasses of wine. No, not wine, that's not the right thickness, and not the right color either. You're trying to come up with something sensible to say, but you're drawing a blank. It makes a morbid kind of sense. You drank blood last night, there's no denying it, and your breathing has not returned, your heart remains still. A vampire. Two voices in your head start battling for supremacy. One of them slowly begins to put everything that happened since yesterday together, coming to the conclusion that no matter how insane it might seem, nothing but what she's saying makes sense. The other voice just keeps saying, what the fuck, on repeat. I feel you, man. You're surprised. This is often how it plays out by design, Kadir deliberately keeping you in the dark and all. If we do nothing, you will be cut down as sure as day follows night. But I'm here to offer you a chance, a way out under one condition. I will take you under my wing. If you're lucky, the prince will be in a good mood tonight and your deference to Kadir will work in your favor. She might agree to this, but only if you swear fealty to me. I am not making this offer lightly. As your patron, I will take responsibility for you. Your actions will reflect on me. If they reflect negatively, well, I'll make sure you face the consequences. What happens if I agree? Suppose I say yes. What happens then? You survive, hopefully. Or not, depending on the prince's whim. I'm giving you a chance, not a guarantee. But if you take me as your patron, I will be your guide in this new reality, and you will assist me like a child would a sire. Steps and hushed voices can be heard from the side room. It seems the prince and her consort are returning to the showroom. Kadir appears from downstairs as well and starts walking towards you. When you hear the verdict, ask to be spared. I will intervene. Remember my condition. Okay. She flashes a heart-melting smile towards Kadir, who does not smile back. The sheriff's immaculate suit is now complemented by a curved, oriental-looking metal scabbard, fastened with a colorful sash around his waist. It would look vaguely ridiculous if it wasn't surprisingly intimidating first and foremost. Kadir takes his place next to you and observes as the prince takes center stage again. Loyal kindred of the New York City Camarilla, gathered here tonight, I have made my decision regarding this fledgling. She briefly addresses you. I want you to know that this was not an easy decision to make. For your part, you have not done anything to earn our hire. I do feel a genuine sorrow for what must be done. We are all keenly aware that these nights we need to close our ranks and trust the wisdom of our elders and the traditions more than ever before. There is no place for tolerating dissent when our very existence is under constant threat, although I acknowledge some of my consul's divergent opinions on this. She takes a look specifically at one of the people who left the room before, a rather plainly dressed, shy-looking man whose skin has a somewhat healthier tone. He bows his head in deference. I told the final authority over this fledgling's fate, and I declare that while their embrace might be the sire's responsibility, in their absence it is their progeny that must be punished. The sentence is final death, to be resolved presently. Kadir? You hear a scraping sound and see that the sheriff has unsheathed his curved sword. It is a beautiful, detailed blade which you expect must be worth a small fortune. Its apparent sharpness makes you freezes up. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. His quiet mumble is audible to nobody but you. As his eyes meet yours, you know just a hint of sadness in his countenance, one that quickly vanishes to give way to grim determination. And he's out to bat. You will not get another chance to speak up. Yeah, I can't. I'm gonna ask for mercy. I mean, maybe I can, but I'm not gonna fucking try it. Ask for mercy. You make your choice. I'm not going down like this, damn it, spare me. Prince, if I may ask you to stay the sheriff's hand for a while longer. Kadir looks at the prince, awaiting her response. The sword is still hanging above you, threatening to fall at a moment's notice. Is there something you'd like to say, Miss Langley? Yes, if I may. At first, the prince looks somewhat annoyed at the distraction, but she stays quiet for a while, measuring the mood in the room. The bored elites suddenly look at you with aroused interest. Some of them dismayed at not seeing the bloodshed, but all intrigued by the unexpected twist. The prince nods. Well, let's hear it. Sophie takes a few steps forward. All eyes are on her now, but Kadir's heavy hand on your shoulder makes it clear you won't take advantage of the distraction. My prince, while the traditions are clear, I believe that the proper context should be observed in addition to the letter of our laws. This fledgling is a burden, but with proper guidance they could become an asset to our domain. Am I to understand you are volunteering to take this sireless child under your protection? Yes, I happen to think they might hold a potential that would be unfortunate to waste. I do expect their full cooperation, of course. Whispers can be heard again, an incredulous voice or two. Hush. Just behead the fucker. Some suppressed exclamations of surprise. Silence. I ask all of you to make a note of this moment. I might be persuaded to bend one tradition in this child's favor, but another will have to be enforced even more firmly in its stead. Until thy progeny shall be released, thou shalt command them in all things. Their sins are thine to endure. Are you certain that's a responsibility you wish to shoulder, Miss Langley? I am willing to guide this fledgling, and had a valuable ally to our sect in a time of need, yes, but I would like to receive the right of destruction over them, if it pleases you. I know it's kind of weird, but give me a chance to prove myself, Prince. I'm worth keeping alive, Prince. Give me a chance to prove myself. That remains to be seen. I do take notice of your tenacity. See that it doesn't become a burden. I shall grant what you ask. Let it be known, Sophie Langley of the Clan of the Rose will become this fledgling's patron. They shall be considered like sire and child. Miss Langley will take full responsibility for them, and I grant her the right of destruction if she sees fit to use it. Let my intentions be clear, however. If I am to turn a blind eye to one of our most important traditions on this occasion, I expect it to be beneficial to the Camarilla, substantially so. I hope you find this verdict satisfactory, Miss Langley. Of course, Prince. Thank you. Very well. She turns to you. What is your name, child? Stephen, Prince. She nods. Welcome to the Camarilla, Stephen. Let's open okay. Because I don't want to explain it, and there's like so subtleties and everything. So the Camarilla, it's a major sect of vampires devoted primarily to maintaining the Masquerade through influence and manipulation of mortal society. They're like, there's a bunch of Ventrue in there, of blue bloods and everything. They're all about, obedience and manipulation and stuff. Thank you all for appearing on such short notice. Give my regards to those who couldn't make it, Kadir. A moment of your time before I let you return to your duties? Of course, Prince. He shoots you a side glance that doesn't leave much space for interpretation. You will be watched, you will be judged, and if need be, you will be punished. The two of them leave the gallery. Well, Stephen, I think we've both already managed to significantly improve each other's evening. But let's keep the ball rolling, shall we? I think we should have a toast to a new fruitful partnership. She raises her hand at one of the well-dressed concierges who have now reappeared in the showroom to refill the guests' glasses. The conventionally handsome man approaches with a carafe of red liquid. He pours it into 2 tall glasses. It's blood, again, that much is clear. You're in 2 minds about drinking it, but the memory of last night's hunger makes you wince. Tentative sip. You expected the same blandness you tasted a few hours ago, but this one you can actually savor. It's smoky and warm, making you think of a cozy cabin in the woods. It does strike you as a strange image for your mind to jump to when drinking human blood, but it is what it is. You've never tasted anything like it before. Do you like it? I think NYC characters have very bourgeois ideas about what good blood should taste like. Apologies, you must have so many questions. While we're on the topic, perhaps we should start with those related to sustenance? How much do I have to drink? I feel this hunger constantly. How much do I have to drink to make it go away? Well, the sad reality is it will never go away. No matter how much you drink, you will always be tempted to have more. Unless you consume someone wholly to the last drop, paying for temporary relief with their life, but that is a one-way road to losing your humanity. Best start by just taking, a single sip from a vessel. Be prudent. Hot, fresh blood will be more satiating than most anything they serve in a fancy glass, but it can make you more, voracious. As to how much you should have, well, it depends. If you're frugal, you can survive many nights without a single drink, but it's risky and you will tempt the beast that is part of our curse. Tomorrow, I shall take you hunting, and we will explore this topic further. The blood you're having tonight should be enough to keep you happy for now. So I'm expected to follow your lead now? You'll take me hunting, you say, and I'm expected to follow you around wherever you go, yes? Our demeanor sours. Well, if I request it, then yes, unequivocally. Without my good graces, you will meet a swift and definite hand. I have offered you a chance, but it's only worth as much as you decide to utilize it. A nasty smile makes her bare her fangs. Of course, you can feel free to save me the trouble and just meet the sunrise. Just do it in a secluded place so you don't endanger, the Masquerade. Okay, let's have a quick. I kind of explain the Masquerade, but the Masquerade is the habit or tradition of hiding the existence of vampires from humanity, designed to protect vampires from destruction at the ends of mankind. The Masquerade was adopted after the medieval Inquisition claimed many kindreds on lives. That's it. That's literally it. Her anger gone in a split second, a warm smile returns to her face and makes you feel foolish for having wronged her in any way. You realize it's an obvious play on your emotions. You've seen Kadir toy with you in similar ways. It doesn't change the fact that the trick is still disturbingly effective. The concierge returns, asks for permission to intrude, which Sophie gives with a polite smile, and leans in to whisper in her ear. You note that the gallery is now almost empty. I'm being told the gallery is just about to close, but we still have quite a lot to discuss. We'll go to one of my apartments. My jalopy is waiting downstairs. Come. The smile she puts on makes you remember the way you felt with the Latina. It's not arousing though, more like magnetic. You find it hard to argue. Even though you're still suspicious of her authority over you, her charm momentarily wins you over. Sophie leads you to a luxurious silver Rolls Royce and invites you to sit in the back. The chauffeur, a broad-shouldered, clean-shaven, middle-aged guy, starts driving immediately. So, where did we leave off? I believe I started telling you a bit more about our customs. You've heard the prince refer to our traditions. The chief among them is the Masquerade. As you might have gathered from us assembling at a niche gallery after closing time, our comings, goings, and doings tends to be somewhat secretive. We do not advertise our existence. We allow myths and modern fiction to morph and models the fact. So to the vast majority of kind, we remain bedtime stories and pop culture icons. Kinds are what they call the humans. Kindreds, so remember, kindreds for vampires, kind for humans. Say, is that one television show about a vampire angel still popular? You shake your head in confusion. She shrugs and continues talking, looking a little bit more dejected than before. Our clandestine ways help us remain safe, allow us to explain away the occasional trip up to the rational minds of the 21st century humanity and dictate much of our interactions with morals. So what's the flip side? Where are the perks here? You're a vampire, but you need to keep quiet about it? What's the point? There has to be a flip side, right? Don't get me wrong, we have power, immense power, influence over mortals, immortality has its benefits too, of course, but we have many enemies and some know our weaknesses as well. For one, sunlight burns us, that's why we rest during the day. You felt it more like being dead than being dormant, isn't it? But we have no choice, we are night dwellers, but day sleepers. Some more folk-related threats are just legends or occasionally minor nuisance. Garlic, running water, even religious symbols don't repel us. Unless the wielder is uniquely pure and godly, of course. Stakes through the heart, though, that's something to avoid. They do not destroy, but they do paralyze, which, under the right circumstances, can often be the same thing. That's a reason to have somebody like my trusted driver Gregory making sure you're safe when you drift away. We have many enemies, and they often know their advantage lies with daylight. So do vampires watch each other's backs? You mentioned enemies, I guess that makes it necessary to watch each other's backs then. Can you count on other vampires for that? She surprises you by letting out a soft chuckle before answering. No. Our little sect supplies social interactions aplenty, but it doesn't really encourage counting on someone. Support given in exchange for favors, yes, that's more like it. Long-term solidarity does occur in the Camarilla, but we are a very politicized organization by necessity. Loyalty is to your sire, to your prince, and to the sect. When you're in Elysian, like we were tonight, the sect can appear to be a monolith. The reality is more complex. Outside of official, gatherings, shady deals, and a quid pro quo mentality reign supreme. Okay, so she seems to be lost in thought and falls silent for a while, leaving you to ponder all the things you've learned tonight. It still feels absolutely unreal, but as piece after piece of knowledge falls into place, the image becomes almost like an entirely logical jigsaw puzzle. Whatever you wouldn't believe on your own, you've witnessed. Many questions swarm your thoughts, but the ones you keep returning to is what your place in this new reality should be. We're here. Would you like to see your lodgings? Is it another parking lot room? Is it another drab safe room in an underground parking lot for my safety and all that? Don't be ridiculous. You're not a sireless fledgling in Kadir's stern grasp anymore. And even E wouldn't hold you there any longer than necessary, I think. Come upstairs. She leads you through a small hall with a night guard who greets Miss Langley with a good evening, and you take the stairs up to the second floor. Sophie opens the door to room 209. Inside are all the amenities you could expect from a modern apartment, and some you wouldn't have deemed necessary just the previous night, including thick blinds on the windows. The back room has a comfortable-looking bed and a thick steel door with several sturdy-looking locks, but no windows. Well, how do you like it? Well, it feels too nice. It's nice, in this very agreeable way, lacks character. Well, I would appreciate it if you could, hold back the need to redecorate. I am actually really fond of the decor here. Tomorrow I will take you one thing and discuss the plot in more detail. I'll let you get comfortable. The keys are by the television set. I will come pick you up tomorrow night. Use the back room for rest. You can lock the doors just in case. It stings a little bit when she leaves. It's like the room suddenly became a few shades dimmer. You inspect the kitchen, hoping to find, something to drink. Nothing. No regular food either. Feels strange that Kadir could be a more thoughtful host than your new sire, even if only in that respect. You briefly wonder if the sheriff might have a hidden side. Sheriff is basically like he's the sheriff of the prince. He's like his handman, let's call it like that. He's the muscles. With nothing left to do, you lie on the couch with the TV playing in the background for company. Columbo reruns, huh? Kojak reruns. President of the United States got himself into serious trouble again. President of the United States got himself out of trouble again. Pundits starts yelling over each other about things that seemed a little bit less insignificant just 2 days ago. You start drifting off, reflecting about another night of confusing conversations and worldview-shattering revelations. How many more before you finally understand what happened to you and what you're supposed to do now? You keep coming back to the life you left behind, the people you should contact, the things you want to pick up from your apartment. You wonder when you'll have the chance for either. As you start to feel the same tiredness that made you drift into a cold sleep last night, you settle in the back room. The bed is comforting, the lack of windows less so. You leave the light bulb on, looking at it. You realize it's the closest you'll ever come to staring at the sun on a breezy summer day again. A wave of melancholy overwhelms you. Fuck me, okay, that scared me. And you take the plunge into darkness again, sinking, 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 sinking. Hunger is at the heart of a vampire's existence. To ignore this, to tempt the beast to take over in its desire to feed, to overindulgent feeding may threaten the masquerade, while staining what humanity you have left. In Coteries of New York, having high hunger is indicated by a progressive, thicker, bloody frame around the screen, like the one you see right now. As your hunger grows, so does this indicator. Your hunger may increase when you call upon your vampiric powers, or when you need to mend your wounds after a fight. When your hunger reaches the maximum level, you will receive a warning after you complete a piece of the story. Ignore it at your own peril. You will need to keep the hunger at bay if you are to uphold the Masquerade and survive the nights that awaits you.